So, one of the reasons why some people voted for Trump was they said that he would be better for Israel. In fact, I think you had a guest who specifically said that, but I think his term was, "I'd hold my nose and vote for him because he's better
Yeah, it's
for Israel."
Adam Ossoff said that. Yep.
Right, right. I guess I'm actually wondering if there's a counterfactual here that, would actually Israel have been better off with a Kamala because she wouldn't have a cudgel to hold over them all the time, the way
She,
Trump seems to have.
she
Because
would have had
Trump
what? Say
says,
that
okay,
again.
well, would Israel actually have been better off with Kamala? Because she would have probably abandoned them. She would have said,
Yep.
no, 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 I'm not going to
Yep.
support you. But
Yep.
then Israel would have, now, whether they actually would have done this, but they would have had to kind of go it alone.
Yep.
And she wouldn't have had as much influence over the country as Trump has. Like just the other day when he said, like, okay, there has to be peace in Gaza, or whatever the heck he said
Yeah.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
No doubt changed at 3. But because he's always got this thing, he can say, "Listen, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to cut off this," or implied or open threats. Would would Israel perhaps have been better off to just be like, "Okay, we don't have the U.S. to support us, and we're going to go deal with it," or without that U.S. support, they'd be in deep, deep trouble. Bad as qualified as the support is.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the problem with anything good Trump does is it's that Trump is doing it.
Yeah,
So I think his support of Israel is not necessarily that helpful. Um, and I think it also is creating a false sense of security in Israel that they can get away with stuff that maybe they cannot.
yeah,
Uh, but it's hard to tell what would have happened if Kamala was there. There certainly is an argument that of the counterfactual that yes, she would have tried to stop them, but they would have gone it alone, and there's certain benefit to that. They wouldn't have been dependent on the United States as they are now. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell how things would have evolved. It's hard to tell exactly what's going to come of this, right? So supposedly he's got a peace plan that's going to stop Israel from actually taking Gaza. They're in Gaza City now. They are days, weeks away from control over Gaza City completely. And he says he's got a peace plan. Supposedly, what's his name? The former Prime Minister of England,
yeah. Tony Blair.
Tony Blair, is going to be
Yeah,
the president of Gaza
I know. What a joke.
during the reconstruction, and they're going to have a multinational force there to keep the peace. But who knows? This is a Tony Blair, supposedly a Tony Blair plan. Who knows what comes of that? Who knows what would have happened with Iran if Kamala was in there? Would she? What would she have done if Israel started bombing Iran? Would the fact that she wouldn't have bombed the facility, would that have encouraged Israel to keep going? Which is what I think they needed to
Exactly.
do.
That's exactly the question I was going to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
would they have actually kept going and done the regime change? Because I don't think it was that far away.
No, I don't think so either.
And
I think
yeah,
I think it
and
was weeks away if they would have
yeah,
weakened the internal structures more, gone after the supreme leader, if they'd killed the supreme leader, if
yeah,
they'd gone after more of the which Trump didn't want them to do. He told them not to do. If they'd gone after the clerics, I think they could have achieved regime change. I said so at the time. With Kamala, would they have done that? Maybe. No, I
yeah,
think there's the legitimate argument. And look, Israel today, because Trump is their only friend or supposed friend, is completely isolated. It's much, much more isolated than it
yeah.
was internationally than it was 6, 9 months ago. And it is really going to be a problem for them if particularly if some of these countries put economic sanctions on them, and they're already putting military sanctions. It's going to be a real challenge for Israel moving forward in terms of. I mean, Netanyahu is also saying is already saying Israel needs to prepare itself to be Sparta.
Yes,
Sparta means
yeah,
self-sufficient, right?
yeah, yeah,
Which is horrible.
yeah.
And
So,
by the way,
if I may, yeah,
more
if I
Americans are
may,
turning
Yaron, just
against Israel.
yeah,
Israel has there's more antagonism towards Israel today on both left and right than ever
yeah.
before, and that is not helped by Trump's support. It's hurt by Trump's support.
Right. But if just on a related question though, would you see any Western nation actively taking military action against Israel, or it wouldn't get to that level of
No, I don't think it will get to that. It's going to be
so
interesting with the Italians, and I think or somebody else.
yeah, and
I think,
the Spaniards too, right? I
yeah,
think
sending ships
yeah,
for this flotilla.
yeah,
I have a feeling they'll be neutralized in ways that do not create confrontation. Um,
okay,
we'll see,
right,
but no, I don't think so. I mean, the closest you could get, and this is of course a real threat, and this is of course the damage that Donald Trump is doing, is Turkey, and
yeah,
Trump Trump is now talking about giving Turkey F-35s,
I know.
and Erdogan is his best friend. Of course, Erdogan's an authoritarian. Trump loves
Yep,
authoritarians.
yep.
So Turkey's probably the biggest threat to Israel in terms of NATO members, and maybe the biggest threat in the Middle East if it can act independent of the United States.
Hmm. Okay, thanks. I'm asking all the optimistic questions today.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.